Good afternoon everyone and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. It has actually been probably a little over a week now since I've even been able to look at this. I've had lots of other stuff going on. As I've mentioned, I have a house being built and I think it's turning out to be a disaster myself. Anyway, lots to sort out there and lots to sort out here. So I didn't mind having a break because I was pondering a few different things. And one of them is because I hand brushed, and I hadn't shown you this up until now, but from this distance it looks great, right? You can't see nothing. But because I hand brushed, there is glistening from the brush. And I didn't really like that. It is here as well, but technically you don't really see that part of the ship because it's in between another structure. This side you do see it, and I'm not happy about it, especially when you go like that. So I was like, okay, and here's another section as well, which this way, not bad, but because of the brush. Now, I'm going to try and do two things first. Number one is I'm going to put a very water-based on top of that, which I did do on the hull, and I had a lot of success. Can't really see that on the hull. This whole build has actually now been, hasn't been touched for a while, so it's well and truly gone off. So the other thing I was thinking about doing was actually putting some matte right across the whole lot of this for this very reason. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but I think on this ship it's necessary. I also did a rather in-depth tutorial on flooring. This one was only on here. I didn't want to do this on my actual tutorial, but I did do a very in-depth, oh my god, it's pouring down outside, tutorial on exactly what to do with flooring, how to put it on, different scenarios, different ways of putting it on. In actual fact, I gave you 4 different ways to put it on. And I've got to put my flooring on here, and I do have to seal off my floors just like I said in the tutorial. But before I do anything else, I want to tackle most of this stuff. Now, the other thing I do want to mention while I'm here, and I'll bring you close, actually I'll zoom you in. Let's zoom in a bit more. Let's have a look. So I've knocked this ship. Let's go in even more. There you go. I've knocked this ship. My light did fall. I did mention that a couple of episodes ago. It has knocked it. It does need another touch up. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about just going back and doing a water-based touch up right over both pieces, which is the hull and these. Anywhere I've got those sort of marks there, get rid of them, and then I'm going to hit it with some matte. Some water-based matte, some acrylic matte, and see how that goes. I'm not saying it's going to work, and I put many hours into this, and the last thing I want to do right now is destroy it. Unfortunately, the HMS Queen Elizabeth, which we have all just heard about, has passed. And unfortunately, I am actually building the HMS Queen Elizabeth, so a little bit of stuff there together. So that's where I'm at after being away for nearly 7 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my hand brush, the same one I used before. I'm just going to get the water-based stuff that is already thinned down, and I'm just going to quickly go over this, and then I'll come back. Could be a few hours, but I'll still come back. So there was my water-based paint. Just gave it a bit of a mix. I'm going to go take my white jumper off, which I do every time I do this stuff. And yeah, I'll come back. So I'll just show you a little bit what I'm doing. I've just got a very water-based one, and I'm just kind of going over any tiny little scratches that are there. I've already kind of technically started. I just thought while I'm here, I probably should bring you in and show you. And I'm hoping it kind of blends it down just a little bit, just so we don't have any of these problems. And just try and take some of that off. I mean, I'm going to try and go over this with every colour, and hopefully when it dries it'll look alright. So yeah, I don't like doing the touch-ups like this, to be honest, but I don't have much choice, because I was kind of happy with it, but I have kind of scratched up. I mean, even here there's a slight variation in the colour here, and just it just needs a little bit of a touch-up. So and I'm hoping that when I put the mat on it, yeah, that's quite bad there. I'm hoping when I put the mat on it that it kind of calms it all down. I mean, we're in the same colour, so we can actually do this part here too. So just dip my brush, take some of the excess off, come in, and you're there, and I'll look through the big lens up the top, and hopefully you'll be able to see, yep. So that little fade there, and it is very water-based, and that's the whole point. The whole point of it is just to try and take some of the sheen off it and just feather out that little bit of a mistake on top of it. And because it's water-based, I can get away with being, slightly a bit rougher. Unfortunately, these from a distance, they look like they're kind of mistakes, which if I had known that, I probably would have changed the line a little bit. But yeah, so there's not that much on this side to do. So I'll turn it over. I'm going to keep going with it. I know you don't want a tutorial on how to paint and this and that, but at least if I show you a little bit what I'm doing, you'll have an understanding. I'll just show you up close this side over here, because this one here, there was a whole section that was missing, and then I had to come back through and then pretty much put it all back on. So there you see me cutting it in. This brush cuts, a couple of different ways, as I stated. You can cut it this way, just depending on what you want to do, really. So let's just hope that smooths out and dries off a bit. I'll come back with the grey. I'm just going to touch this up the other way, because the grey is slightly darker. It should be okay. There's not a whole lot to do on this, and there's really not a whole lot to do on the other one as well, on the little superstructures. This is more about just touching it up before I actually put a final coat of matte on there. So this one here was the main one that was the biggest decision maker on why I had to touch it up. I've just finished this. I'm pretty happy the way it looks. I'm just going to quickly go around the rest of it. I think overall it's pretty good. I bat a little bit with the paint on this ship anyway, so yeah, I'm just hoping that spraying a little bit of matte is just going to just sort of give this what I need. So yeah, anyway, that's the hand brushing almost finished. I've done two different colours. The grey was mostly okay, the light grey, or as I should call it, the medium grey. So I think what we're going to do is prepare this and get it ready for some matte. I did the water wash with the brush, and while it is a little better, yeah, you can still see it, but look, it's definitely an improvement on what it was before. And the other side, yeah, still kind of there. It looked better, but when I was doing the wash, and technically it's the right colour, so that there is the right colour, or this way or whatever. It's just, I've got to take that sheen off it. So I think the only thing I've got left to do is spray it with a bit of matte, bit of acrylic matte, and that's it. That's silver. That's got the same problem, but in the silver. And this is what I haven't been happy with this ship so far. This very reason. Overall, pretty happy with it. Very happy with the design and the way the camouflage came out. It just didn't pull off so well with these paints. I'm sorry, it didn't. So I think that'll do it with the touch-ups. And now I'll just prepare it and I'll just give it a good old hit and see how we come out. We're either going to destroy it or we're going to fix it, one of the two. And if we destroy it, I got another one in there. Or just paint it all back to grey again and start again. No, I'm only joking. Okay, I'll prepare this. I will say though, because we have a lacquer-based red and acrylic top, we do have to go back and mask it all back up, because I think we'll get some rejection if we get any of that clear on top of the red. Just kind of dawned on me as I'm doing all this. Is anyone else wondering about the black line? I am. Imagine if I do all this to protect this and then the black line doesn't work out. Oh my god. Let's not even go there. There it is, all covered up again. I'll quickly show you the other side. And now there's the other. So what we're going to do now is going to seal this with a bit of matte. And hopefully we can stop these scratches and stuff and just, yeah. And pretty much once this is done, it's finished. It's just the floors are painted, the tops are painted. I just got to put the floors on, put the deck on, and put all the pieces together. There's some guns, a bit of rigging, and it's finished. So we're really at not many more hours to go to finish this off. So this is purely just to sort of set it all off and protect it a bit. So I've just made up a jar of acrylic matte enamel, gave it a good mix, watered it down. It's 50-50 mix, and yeah, I'll get this all ready to go. It's quite nice. I'll double check it before I use it though, just to make sure it's thin enough for the airbrush. So if you remember our original test piece, which was our floor, yes, it's very nice on one side, and there it is on the other. I kept this all along. It's just good for doing all the bits and pieces on and see if there's any rejection anywhere. And again, we're going to do the same on the back just to see how the matte acrylic goes. So I put it on. I got the gun spraying, you know, fairly heavy, probably a little too heavy to be honest. And we'll just put it on and we'll just see what kind of rejection we're going to get. I'm not sure if I should dust coat this first like everything else, and just to make sure, let's put a bit of a dust coat on. That's it. And then we'll come back and see what the difference is. I stole the Mrs. hairdryer to dry it off a bit. Well, there it is, it's on there. A little bit of marks here, but I don't know, it could have been from the other stuff. So I'm just going to hit it one more time. And you may as well watch as well. So we're just going to, I like dusting all the way over it. And this side too where we dusted before. I mean, it could be that it's watering it down that much. It's probably not that good, I don't know. You're probably not going to want much more than that. That's a good coat on there, I would say. I mean, you can see it glistening. We're not after a glossy finish though. This is just, I use the light to see where it is. So I can see the light in there, all the way through, it's on there. Now let's let that go off and we'll see what happens. I won't use a dryer this time, let's let it go off naturally. It's not quite dry yet, it's still drying off. It's probably been about 7 minutes. The tip's dried off. I would say I had it coming too much out of the gun, so I've just turned the gun way down. Where it is drying off, it's drying off rather nice. What does it feel like? Yeah, it feels alright. It is matte, absolutely it's matte. You can't see the difference there where it's dried off. So, yeah, let's see. That's the beauty about messing up a good piece. Yeah, it's on there. It's absolutely on there. Because I've got to seal my floors, I actually may seal that side too. I may. Yeah, actually, I think I might. So as I said, I turned the gun all the way down. I'm going to use the light, and you can see my paintbrush marks in there before we start on the bottom grey bit, just in here. So we're just going to come back here. Hopefully I've got it turned down enough. We're just going to give this a bit of a dusting first. Not bad. Just gotta be careful how much I handle it. And we'll do two sides and then we'll let it go. I think we will do the floor because if I mess this up, I can easily fix this. We're going to do it. If it doesn't work out, we'll just repaint it. So again, I've got it turned down fairly low. I wanted this protected anyway to put the floor on, which is also in my tutorial about using gloss enamel to prepare the floor. Sorry about that. That was acrylic matte varnish. Now that I reread it. What I do like about this already, this kind of had a bit of a dusty look to it before, but with a bit of varnish on top that's in matte, it's just set it off nicely, which is what I was hoping for. So as it is there with the varnish on it, the matte varnish, it looks really good. I don't know what it's going to be like when it dries, but this one here, because it's a floor piece, and I did need to put the varnish on anyway before the flooring. Yeah, let's hope this one turns out alright. I mean, if the rest turns out this good, oh, we're on a roll here. So there we have it, one piece without it and one piece with it, and you can see the difference. It just kind of highlights it and just sort of sets it off. Again, we'll wait for the top one to dry and then we can double check them. So that top one is dry now and it looks exceptional. Let's bring it up closer. So there it is up closer. It's probably still drying just a fraction, but yeah, it's set off nicely. It doesn't have that dusty look. The other one just kind of looks a bit dusty. You can sort of see it there, and that's what it does. It kind of seals it off, sets it all off nicely, and yeah, I mean, I am actually very happy with that. And if the colours can set off like this, we're looking at one magnificent looking ship. All right, I'm going to do the next piece now. Well, there it is with the good coat. I kind of gave it 2 coats, and that one's now finished. Our other original one that's now dry looks fantastic. That's ready to go for flooring and pretty much to finish the ship off. So that is really nice. So now the floors are done and they're looking pretty good, and they were the easiest to fix if anything went wrong. Now we're back to the other structural parts. So I'll continue on with putting some varnish on these, the matte varnish. Now it's still going off, but I'm sure you can agree that is a vast improvement. That looks fantastic. So this one had some pretty bad paint marks just here and around on this side here. Not that you could really see these on the ship. I mean, me painting them out has definitely dulled them because they're not as prevalent as they were before, but yes. The rest of this was pretty much okay. Oh, there was that grey there that I forgot about. Look at that. I wonder how that will come up. Well, there's 2 pieces covered, and I've got to tell you, they look pretty good. All right, if we can get the same with the hull, I think we're on a winner. Okay, let's finish off these pieces and get on with the next piece. I guess we're going to tackle this just like we have every other time. We're going to start from one end and work our way around. The hull has been recovered up over the lacquer paint. And now that once this is protected, if we do need to do any work to the lacquer paint, we can now cover this side up. Yes, I know it's double work, but unfortunately, sometimes that's the way it goes. So I'll get on and cover this one. Well, there it is, just been varnished in the matte. It's a little glossy at the moment, and it's got to wait for it to dry off and dull down a bit. All in all the pieces are now covered. I think it went rather well. I think that's all we got time for today, and again, I'm enjoying being back behind the model and continuing on with it. So, hope I'll see you next time, and I'll catch you later. Bye. I had just not long finished this video, and I was actually getting set up to do something else. And I remembered something that I wanted to mention in the video that I hadn't actually mentioned yet. So when I was at the store, there is gloss, there is satin, and there is flat varnishes. I knew gloss was out, although I do have gloss here, so that was a no-brainer. But gloss on a ship, no way, not for camouflage. And I did really ponder very, very hard. Do I go satin or do I go matte? And I got to tell you, I probably spent 20 minutes in the store thinking about it. I mean, you can change it to one because you can go back and put the satin over the matte if you wanted, or the other way around. But I want to try and do this right the first time. I am quite very happy at the way that it's now popping. It's popping unbelievable. It's just brought it up 10 times. It's that good now. Very happy with it. The ship looks amazing. It's dry. I think it's almost dried off. It's just, yeah, no, it just looks good. It just looks really good. All I need to do now is fit it all together, and we're going to have ourselves one very good looking HMS Queen Elizabeth. And again, it's sad that she has now passed, but we kind of have a commemoration ship here for her. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So after about 20 minutes, I kind of came up with the majority was more matte. And I did read one that said, well, you can actually go back and change either one. I'm like, well, I already got gloss. I don't have any satin. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go the matte because in my eyes, it was easy to go the matte. And that if I wanted something a bit more, I could always put it on there. I've kind of got a bit of a satiny matte look anyway. But yeah, I'm very happy the way it looks. Anyway, I feel like I'm waffling on now. I do feel that was important to mention because I did ponder for such a long time what to do. And because we're so close to the end, the last thing anyone wants to do now is ruin it. Okay, so I'll just cut this off here and I'll add this with the rest of the video, and yeah, bye for now.